Most tourists in the world are always looking for new experiences in every trip. Some of them prefer to relax on the beaches and visit museums. Among them are those who are looking for an adventure through which they live a dangerous experience that they will remember for a lifetime. But there are places in the world that one must think 1,000 times before approaching them. Because although it was an interesting experience, it could be the last experience ever. In this video, we will talk about the 10 most dangerous places in the world. The Juarez Trench in Mexico, otherwise known as the Valley of Death, is the embodiment of an area that is difficult to see except in horror films. 65 square kilometers of cotton fields and deserted towns on the U.S. border with the highest crime rates in the world. From theft, kidnapping, and murder, its streets are always known for drugs, blood, and corpses scattered everywhere in the valley. And the area that was inhabited by 60,000 citizens in the past, now all those present in it do not exceed 5,000 people. They live in the midst of fear and terror from the gang organizations that control the valley, and those who not only exercise their power in selling drugs, but they also engage in wars against each other for the leadership of the region at the expense of the lives and safety of civilians. Even the police who were assigned to intervene to stop the operations in the area and protect the citizens were executed by gangs in the year 2009. Since then, the authorities have not appointed anyone for fear of receiving the same fate. At a distance of 150 kilometers from the coast of Sao Paulo, Brazil, lies the island of Ilha de Queimada Grande, known as the Island of Snakes. And the island is a real nightmare on Earth. The island is uninhabited, and for a very good reason. The island contains the worst and most dangerous types of poisonous snakes in the whole world. On top of them is the golden snake with its venom that can paralyze a person and remove his entire flesh. The length of the island is no more than 1,630 meters and a width of 530 meters. There are more than 2,000 snakes of the most dangerous species in the world. Civilians are prohibited from approaching the island in any way, and it was monitored by the Brazilian Navy in the interest of souls, one of the worst ways in which a person can die. One of the most arid deserts on Earth, the most hot and polluted with toxic gases, is the Danakil Desert in northeastern Ethiopia. The area is characterized by all the necessary factors to eliminate any living being. From scorching temperatures, volcanoes, and sulfur lakes with their violent smells. Add to this also the scarcity of rain, which makes the region's rivers dry up and turn into lakes of salt. On its edges, you can see the deposits resulting from the active volcanoes in the place. Despite the harsh environment of the Danakil Desert, tourists consider it a tourist destination through which they live an interesting adventure, and the journey that takes place to the place is entitled Hell on Earth. Lake Kivu is one of the largest lakes in Africa and one of the most attractive for tourists. However, the lake, which is located on the border between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, contains secrets in its depths that make it one of the most dangerous places in the world. The lake contains 60 billion cubic meters of methane gas, next to 2,000 cubic meters of carbon dioxide, and those who are formed by volcanic activities and trapped under the pressure of earth and water in the depths of the lake. In the event of an explosion and the exit of toxic gases, it will cause a deadly cloud to spread over the entire region and the certain death of more than 2 million people. This is exactly what happened in the 1980s when 2 lakes of the same shape in Africa leaked from them and caused the death of more than 1,000 people. And the researchers guess that the same issue would occur in Lake Kivu because it has the same chemical composition similar to the composition of the 2 lakes. But of course, the death rates will be much higher. Nevertheless, the lake remains one of the most important tourist attractions in the entire region. Huangshan Mountain, located near the Chinese city of Haiyan, is one of the 5 great or sacred mountains of China, and one of the most dangerous mountains you can climb in the whole world. The reason is its dangerous passages that the monks made as a means of ascending and reaching the 5 main peaks of the mountain. The southern summit is considered to be the highest, with a height of more than 2,000 meters. However, the narrow stairs and paths, some of which are made of wooden planks on the side of the mountain, are only 60 or 70 centimeters wide. It turns climbing a mountain into a complete nightmare, and the only thing you can secure yourself with is an iron chain that you hold while moving. And with the end of the wooden planks under your feet, you begin to use small stairs carved into the mountain to complete your journey. To date, there are no specific figures on the number of annual deaths while climbing the mountain. Oxygen is considered an essential factor in human life, and at the top of Mount Everest, 48 meters above sea level, there is no more than a third of oxygen that is present in our natural level. Climbers are able to bear the harsh environment on top of the mountain for a short period of time through training and trying to adapt for months in order to be able to endure the coldness and lack of oxygen that they will face. But if it happened, and you moved immediately from your current location directly to the top of Mount Everest, you would die within 2 to 3 minutes due to severe oxygen deficiency. Of course, this is not the risk of exposure to slips and avalanches. Mount Everest has so far caused the death of 2 people who tried to conquer one of the most dangerous places in the world. The Mariana Trench in the western Pacific Ocean is the deepest point on Earth's surface, with a depth of 11 kilometers below sea level. This means that if we took Mount Everest and turned it over and buried it in the heart of the trench, it would not reach the end of the trench. And just as it is difficult for a person to bear a summit like Mount Everest, the same is the case at the deepest point under the surface of the water. And the problem is not only in breathing, which can be treated through respirators, but the main problem is with the terrible pressure that exists in the depths. What is possible without proper clothing causes the lungs to collapse in a few seconds. This means that if for some reason someone reaches this depth without the necessary equipment, he will lose consciousness within 15 seconds at the latest and die in less than 90 seconds. Going down the Mariana Trench is just as dangerous as going out into the vastness of space without a space suit to protect you. The International Organization for the Control of Nuclear Waste has recognized that Karachay Lake in Russia is the most polluted lake in the world, and the lake contains a very large amount of radioactive waste, which can give you a lethal dose of radiation just by standing beside the lake. The Soviet Union began using the lake to dispose of radioactive waste in 1951. Until the passage of time, the lake became one of the most dangerous places in Russia and in the whole world. In the year 2013, the city of San Pedro Sula, located in Honduras, ranked number 1 for the most dangerous cities in the world. After it surpassed this year, the Juarez Valley, Mexico. The city has a population of about 1 million. It is the second largest city in Honduras. The death toll in the city in 2013 reached 187 cases for every 1,000 dead. The city is considered one of the main areas for the distribution of weapons and drugs, through which, of course, gang organizations are active, as they are the main outlet. The lives of the city's residents who are unable to leave their homes for any reason are in daily danger of kidnapping, theft, or murder. One of the few roads connecting the Yungas region in northern Bolivia with the capital, La Paz, is the Yungas Road, otherwise known as the Road of Death. It was built by Paraguayan prisoners of war in the 30s of the last century, with a length of 64 kilometers. The road is a very narrow lane with a width of 3 2/10 meters and a height of 4 7/10 meters. Nothing separates the driver from the dangerous slopes that lie beside him along the way. And the road causes 300 deaths annually. It is strange that this terrifying road, which was completed in the year 2006, is considered one of the landmarks of Bolivia that attracts tourists to visit it. Among those who were excited to visit the road were the cyclists who tried to use the road and enjoy the scenery at the high altitude. Unfortunately, in the last 10 years, 18 cyclists have died on the road,